Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Blrd Podcast, episode 154. Tonight, we have a very electric panel for you. We have Bandito Mac.
That's right. What's up? I'm here. I'm in the building.
There we go. We got Dark Side.
Yo.
Green Tuner.
Hello.
Snake. Snake. All right, he's obviously doing snake-like things. I don't know where he's at. And then myself, as always, main character, Bebe, best in the world, Creamcast. How you guys doing tonight? You guys doing pretty good?
Oh yeah, doing great, man.
Yeah, doing well.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, we are. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Like we didn't meet up last week. We had some real life people who had real life responsibilities, so unfortunately we weren't able to come last week, but now we are here. Man, we got a lot of stuff to go over.
Came.
You said what?
I said we finally came this week. All of us came this week.
Oh, we all came this week.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
we're coming, baby.
Yeah, we're here.
We're here. Or whoever's listening or watching.
Yeah. I mean, you're getting like an ear orgasm right now from all our voices, so you're welcome. As we are coming live to you guys at this moment. Yeah. I mean, hey, let's not even waste time. Let's get right into it. Let's get into the main topic. All right. So this is something that we've all said we want. We had to do it only because we are completionists. We like to finish what we started, and we've done Lord of the Rings series in the past. We still haven't done season 2, but we're like, hey, what is the
completionists?
We're completionists, even though we haven't finished the second season.
There's an asterisk.
Aspiring completion.
Yeah,
aspiring completion.
Yeah, you gotta look at the fine print. Yeah, it's gonna be a fine print, but we do try to actually do a complete series when we can. So while we have not done Rings of Power season 2, that is coming in the near future, we decided to do Lord of the Rings: War of Rohirrim. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, we talked about this earlier, and yeah, we have.
Real quick, did I fix my sound?
Oh, you're back.
Oh, you're back. Oh, Snake.
Yeah. As soon as you started recording, my internet took a crap.
Oh shit.
So, hi. Yeah.
Well, we have Snake's back. Yeah, Snake is back. Awesome.
Roar of the Rohirrim.
Yeah, War of Rohirrim. Rohirrim.
You gotta say it fast so nobody knows you're fucking up with the pronunciation.
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. Man,
there's
so
a lot of R's in there.
Man, they definitely were not doing us any favors with that spelling and that pronunciation.
Mind you, that was animated in Japan.
Yeah, I don't know how they.
Wow.
I wish I would have listened to it in the actual like Japanese language in Japanese. Yeah, I was like, what?
Not simply animated in Japan. This is animated by Production IG. This is directed by the guy who did Ghost in the Shell.
Oh yeah.
So I just want I'm gonna highlight this because I am a huge Ghost in the Shell fan. The guy did like 2 series, several movies. I'm just like, all right, cool, Ghost in the Shell stuff.
Yeah.
And then he goes on to do Blade Runner Black Lotus in 2021, which stank. He did Ghost in the Shell 2045, which stank. And now he did this. The Ascents of Passion.
Which? Well, stay tuned.
Yeah, stay tuned. Yeah, you'll find out. But yeah, we went ahead and reviewed this mainly because, well, one, it's kind of a nice little lag in between what we're going to review next week, which is Brave New World, and also we did not want to sit through 10 hours of Rings of Power in a week span, and decided to just do this instead. So, yeah, so we all checked it out. Yeah, let's go and let's just go ahead and let's just talk about it. Oh, really quick, hey, shout out to Runemore. He says, already gonna start off by saying, if you don't mention Super Bowl halftime show, you're doing it wrong. We probably will talk about that later. So yeah. it is what it is. But hey, thanks for hanging out with us, man. All right, let's go ahead and kick it off. Lord of the Rings, War of Rohirrim. I unfortunately, I know, like, before we review anything, we usually try not to watch any type of ratings. We try not to ingest any other type of media that can kind of influence our opinion on the subject matter that we're going to discuss. But, unfortunately, with Lord of the Rings, this had been out for a little while before we decided to review it. So, before we even knew we were going to review it, I looked at reviews just to see what was the consensus out there. So coming in, I kind of understood what I was getting myself into. But damn, did I not realize how much worse it really was until I started watching it. I feel like we are probably one of the most fair review groups. When I compare our review to other reviewers like IGNs, Metacritics, and all this other stuff, or like IMDb, I feel like we give a real world take on these shows and what we're ingesting. All the movies, TV shows, and so forth. This shit was doo-doo. I was so bored of this movie. It was probably, if I wanted to cure insomnia, this is the shit I will watch. I was struggling to get through this. I know when I get bored, I know when I'm tired of watching something, is when I scroll over to see how much time is left. And I'm like, fuck. And I started watching this shit. And I was at the part of, I started within like the first 30 minutes, like you get to meet all the main characters in the story. And by the first 30 minutes, you have kind of seen where the conflict is going, why it's starting up. And that was a little interesting at first. And then it just took a nosedive. It took an instant nosedive. And I would probably say 45 minutes in, I started looking at the time. And I'm like, holy shit. We still have another hour 20 left. Like, this is absolutely ridiculous. Like, there's just no way they can put in an hour 20 of more material outside of this. And I don't know what I was expecting. I was expecting a Peter Jackson phenomena. I was expecting like this could be action packed and is gonna blow my mind. This is Lord of the Rings, Twin Towers and all these other ones that just in animated form. And holy shit, I was so disappointed. I don't know what I was smoking. I don't know what I was drinking. I don't know what I was thinking before I reviewed this and had such high optimism. The story felt weak. It felt very forced. It felt I hated the king of Rohirrim. He was like Beowulf given flesh. Like, this man cannot be stopped. This man was literally punching people, killing people with one punches. This man was fighting fucking orcs and shit with his bare hands. This man was fighting motherfuckers with his bare hands, whooping their asses. I'm like, we ain't never seen in any Lord of the Rings some dude coming around like, you know what? I could get a sword. I can stand behind my castle and just kill these orcs so they're stupid. Nah, let me go fisticuffs to them. This motherfucker just took straight hands to orcs, trolls, and everything else pretty much. Barehanded. And then had the audacity to just freeze to death. What a fucking noob. This guy stinks. Get this man off the stage immediately.
He forgot to put on his ice resistance charm. Yeah. So that's why.
Yeah. This man
he didn't put his build right.
Right.
His part was like the only interesting thing, I feel like, or the most interesting part about the movie was just him.
The only interesting part, probably.
Yes.
Like, what was the point of animating this movie? What was the fucking point? Literally, all the animated is people talking for like 90% of the movie.
Yeah.
That's the whole animation. What the fuck?
Yeah. And you know what? And I didn't know. I guess coming into this, I was just trying to understand like how this ties back to Lord of the Rings, like the original stories, I guess. I'm just trying to see how it fit. Like it's kind of just
200 years before, I think, right?
Yeah. But I mean, like,
I can answer that question. I can tell you exactly how it fits in. Here's
Yeah,
what you do. You remove the orcs and any references to Rohirrim or any of the other Lord of the Rings stuff, all of which of
Mhm.
there were maybe 10 total, and they were all by name. And this is any other generic fantasy movie ever.
Right.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Exactly.
Nothing about this
nothing
tied back
interesting.
into Lord of the
Yeah,
Rings.
this did
Yeah.
not feel like you tied
This-
back to Lord of the
No,
Rings
they
whatsoever.
tacked that name on. They tacked that name on to an otherwise already written script for marketing.
Well, it felt like honestly, this film felt like, because one of the biggest complaints with the Lord of the Rings was that there was not a lot of female representation. That none of the female characters in the Lord of the Rings, none of the main characters no two females talked in the entire trilogy.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah,
I had no idea.
Yeah.
Wow.
No women talked to each other during the entire movie. So it was a point of contention for a lot of people. Like, this high elf fantasy, European fantasy, Lord of the Rings already drew a lot of ire with people in the sense that Lord of the Rings wasn't exclusive or inclusive as people would have liked it. And I felt like this was like an apology film to like, hey, well, in all these Lord of Rings films, the women are not talking. We don't have really strong female characters kind of leading the charge. Now we're really going to do it now. And they did it in the most boring fashion that was even possible. Like, you make the main female character was paled in comparison to her dominant father. Literally out here, having everybody catch hands. He's like, you catch hands, you catch hands. I'm whooping everybody's ass. It didn't make sense. It did not make sense. This was a complete waste of time. And I agree with Snake.
It makes perfect sense.
Take away all the
perfect sense.
No, it doesn't.
New Line wants to hold on to the film rights, and they need to release something in theaters before they expire, so they can keep milking the IP. All right, I think that's the whole reason we had to watch this fucking piece of garbage.
Man,
I like what? It's literally like an animated movie released in theater. I don't know. I'm perplexed.
Yeah, I was very surprised by that too, because I'm like, what? Who is this for? Like, did this title demand like a box office release?
no.
This should have been like a straight to VOD thing, not theater release, whatever. This is not like One Piece or, what I mean? This is not like an established anime series.
Right.
Yeah.
It just kind of blew my mind.
Put this shit on Tubi and keep it pushing. Like, holy, this is horrible.
I think overall it was just boring, right? Just kind of like just mediocre. I mean, because I feel like it wasn't even that, like, the story wasn't terrible in the sense that there was like anything really bad except for it being cliche or like very predictable as well, right? Maybe not so much in her dad coming back to life and throwing hands with everybody, but he didn't die, but you know what I mean.
No, he did die.
He got hurt. Well, he died, but I mean, like, he got hurt and then he started sneaking out at night, throwing hands on everybody.
Right.
But like, because I felt like the story was paced okay, like things started moving very quickly. But you knew, like, okay, that this battle right here, people are gonna start dying. Like, this is where things are gonna turn around. Like the very cliche. Oh, the guy, what was his name? Wolf. Him trying to get revenge for his dad that died. Like everything.
Lord, that's stupid. Oh, what a fucking lame villain.
Such
a lame. Oh my god.
Like just almost cartoonishly evil.
Yeah, everybody in this, pretty much everybody in this, all the major players in this movie were one-dimensional. Her dad is stuck on his pride. Wolf is stuck on his pride. The other general, the turncoat guy, pretty much stuck on his pride. And at the very end, he's about the only guy who has any amount of character development, and he's a bit player the whole time. Everybody is so up their own ass, it makes them predictable and the big B word. And it drives me crazy. And our main character, I don't remember anybody's freaking name, I'm sorry.
I'm with you. It's hard.
And our main character, she starts off strong. she's tomboyish, she's on her own, she's adventuring. She does like the most Lord of the Rings things we had in the whole movie was her finding the orphan leading into the swamp to fight the swamp monster thing. It was like, okay, here's the studio showing off like a monster fight. We've got ties to some of the history here. That's kind of cool. Not 30 seconds later, after she's shown off that like she's smart, she's strong, she's doing, she gets abducted immediately by the first man that shows up. And to that point, every time she has an interaction with a man throughout the rest of the movie, she showed up in not even a fight. She's just either packed up and tossed away or has her ass whooped.
Yeah.
Until the end of the movie, where there's a big fight where suddenly she's powerful again. There's no development for anybody, and hers is the biggest sin of all for what they tried to sell you.
Right. Yeah. 100%. Because she doesn't get to. They never really let her become her own person in a sense.
No,
until she just gets her revenge hit on Wolf at the end there, but she's still kind of in the shadow even of her cousin, who comes in at the end after he was exiled, and he's like, well, here's the other guy here to save the day, who couldn't predict that part, right?
Yeah.
But very much so. Super one-dimensional characters, like nothing terribly memorable from any of them, but like just like you're saying, like the other part,
not even their names.
Yeah, not even their names.
And it's a waste of animation. I'm gonna emphasize that, because we just said right now that the coolest part was seeing that elephant thing, right, with the swamp thing.
Yeah.
In animation, you have the freedom to do anything that's way too expensive to do in film, right?
Yeah.
Why not give us like more crazy Lord of the Rings shit, right? That everyone likes. They literally just, again, they animated 90% of people talking. That's all they animated. It's fucking perplexing. This is something that could have been done with just actors, and I don't know if it would have been as cheap, but it would have achieved the same thing.
Well, the thing is, I felt like we could have, like, I feel like with this, we could have easily, they could have easily just made this into like a short story, like a comic book, right? Like, it's not uncommon for series to get like one shots and so forth. So they would have done a one shot and would have said like, hey, here's a one shot of Lord of the Rings, put it into like viz.com or Shonen Jump, and made this into like a one shot. That would have been cool. A one shot can be 60 pages long, and it can still be really good. I realized like even recently there was a Bleach one shot that I had missed from like 4 years ago, and I read it again, or I read it again, and then I was like, oh, this is really good. I really enjoyed it. And that was fine. We didn't need Bleach. This is a time when Bleach wasn't around. There was no 1,000 Year Blood War anime out or anything of the sort. This could have easily just been a comic book and then been like, oh, okay. And it probably would have came out much better. I mean, there's an anime or a manga called Vinland Saga, which is I'm assuming it kind of inspired by like stuff like Vikings and Lord of the Rings, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And
it's pretty much entirely Viking. It's like a Nordic history.
History. That's also like Nordic fantasy history, and so forth. So it's like they could have did that. And Vinland Saga, there's an audience for that. Vinland Saga, obviously, it was done by a Japanese mangaka. It was very well regarded and so forth. So if you would have did something like that, but with Lord of the Rings, people would have busted all over this thing. They would have been excited. But that's
the thing though. It's like this story. It's like what story are they trying to tell, right? Like what interesting thing are they trying to sell you on, or like try to provide some sort of interesting look at? Because there was just nothing else there, right? Like we just have this story about Hera and how she didn't want to get married, and then at the end she's like, I just want to go and have adventures. And it's like, oh, okay. Like, I don't know why I care about any of that.
What about this is Lord of the Rings?
Congratulations, everyone you know is dead, and they burned your town to the ground. You can go do that now.
It's like, like, wow, man, you really accomplished your goals at that point. No, I agree with you. It's like nothing was achieved whatsoever with this. There was no pushing, like, there's nothing like, oh my goodness, man, that was really cool about the Lord of the Rings. They really added additional context to this, and now we really get it. It was, okay, the orcs were starting to show up, so Helm decided to go fisticuffs, beat some orcs ass, and his daughter was like, shit, oh, there's orcs here. I need to go tell somebody. And then boom, then she tells Gandalf, and it's like, holy shit, whoa, Gandalf is alive. He's over 200 years old. That's crazy. There's nothing added to it whatsoever. Right. And it was a useless story. It was a pointless story. There's other stories that have done it better. There has been Brave. There has been you could even say like what's the Elsa, Frozen. There's there's better stories that tells this kind of situation with the girl wants to go out and be adventurous than what this did. This was literally pointless animation. And I'm not gonna lie, the animation was beautiful. It reminded me of, Spirited Away, 2000s anime, and so forth. Like it's very beautiful animation. It's just, it was pointless, very pointless. So, very upset with this, how it turned out. But we do have a resident Lord of the Rings fanatic, a fan.
Very quiet.
Yeah. Very quiet. Very stoic.
A dork, you might say.
Yes.
A nerd.
Nerd. Yes. He's very, very demure right now.
A basement dweller.
Very stoic.
Go ahead.
See, he's gone base. I say you're stoic. Very dark gentleman like. Now, as the resident Lord of the Rings fan, what was your opinion? Help us. Help us understand. Maybe we're missing the pieces.
Yeah.
What is a Rohirrim?
Yeah, it was a Rohirrim.
A Rohirrim.
It was Rohan. They lived in Rohan.
It falls on me to educate you fools. I've idly been sitting by, hearing you guys shit all over this. That's not good. It's a piece of shit.
Right? I'm not gonna lie. I was really expecting you to really. I'm like,
I was ready for you to start coming.
How dare you diminish the Rohirrim?
Tell me on something.
The fucking Eagles, Philadelphia Eagles.
There we go.
It's all connected.
Yeah.
No,
fly Eagles, fly.
Philadelphia Eagles.
You still be.
I love the Lord of the Rings. We all do. Love the original series, and there's one truth in the Lord of the Rings series right from the beginning, from 2001 when that shit came out. I think 2001. The human stories are the most boring stories in that entire series. That series is cool because you get all this other shit in there. Yeah, the humans are in there, but they're like enhanced by orcs and magic and elves, fucking hobbits, and the ring that does cool shit and ring wraiths, all this cool shit around all these boring ass humans. Yeah. The human story is the most boring story in the world, in that world at least. Like, I like Aragorn. I think he's cool. I like the other characters that are human, but they're not really that entertaining until they come across some of this cool shit. This movie is all human shit. Literally, it's all human shit. And like when they got to the orc stuff, I perked up. I was like, oh, here we go. And literally, I noticed it was like around the halfway point of the movie. Because they don't get to I think, Helm's Deep till halfway through, right? I think, or at least maybe, something around that. And then when she saw the orcs, or no, the goblins or whatever they were, I perked up, and they were talking about the ring, and I was like, oh, here we go, right? Here we go. It's going to get more interesting. We're going to see some cool bad guys, because you're right. Everything has been boring. It's this, even he's a lame bad guy. He's just this like,
he's a whiny boy.
Spoiled, whiny. Yes. Yeah. He's so like, he's not really that.
It's one that we've seen this guy a million times.
And he's not really a main. He's not really a main bad. We've seen him a million times. He's not really a main bad guy. He's who the main bad guy shows up and kills this guy to prove a point to the other bad guys that, hey, I'm in charge, and he kills this like side bad guy. He's the main bad guy the whole time. You're like, where's fucking Sauron? Where's he gonna show up and smash this guy's head open?
Yes.
It's like, and also this story is like based on like lore from the Lord of the Rings, so it's like all real stuff. Because I guess that moment in the end of this movie, which copies the Two Towers moment at the end of that movie, is a callback to this movie in the lore. You know what I mean? Like the refuge of Helm's Deep and how it served them for, you know, those people for 200 years. And, you know, they have these legends of this, like, them enduring and surviving against all these odds. Like, I get it, but like, you already did that though. You got to show us something different. It's literally, actually, it's not even in the Lord of the Rings when the scene happens, there's like thousands of knights on the edge when they like that look to the east moment happens. And it's like Gandalf's there, and it's a cool sequence because it feels like you're totally defeated. In this movie, it literally felt like 20 dudes showed up and it was like, oh, that's it. Like that was the big, and I get animation is expensive, but like it undercut the whole end of the movie too. I was like waiting for like, the dude showed up with the helmet. And I was like, okay, like, does the helmet do some cool shit? It didn't even do that.
It's made of mithril. You just don't know it.
I wish it were made of mithril. I wish it were made of mithril, but it's not. Yeah, I wanted to like it because I do like the animation. I do want more animated feature films in theaters that are traditionally hand drawn and are not aimed at kids. I want more of that stuff to happen. This was just not that, and of all the places they could have gone in Lord of the Rings, they went in like the most boring
of them all.
Most
like, oh, we have such a
I would rather watch
racists. Let's go with
I mean, I would rather watch like hobbits doing something funny and goofy, you know what I mean, lighthearted. I would rather watch that because that's at least something, you know, like I could
like they did in the movies. You mean focus on the hobbits?
Yeah. It was good to see animated Christopher Lee at the end. I guess, you know, they really stuck to that the likeness of him, I guess, and maybe it is because the rights, New Line needs to hold the rights to the franchise.
Oh, it needs to match the movie.
Yeah, maybe that's why. Like they just really wanted to make sure that this is the movie universe. You know, it's not like anything else. So I wish there was more to it, but there's really not. It's just.
Because I mean, they mentioned like the dad Helm. He had the blood of the ancients or something like that, but they never really got more into that. I mean, except for him.
They brush on all of these very Lord of the Rings details and don't do anything with it. We have monsters, we have orcs, we have all the history, we have they even stylized some of the art. And I'm gonna sidebar on the freaking the armor in this movie was just drab and poorly animated. I could not tell whether what anybody was wearing was supposed to be a pauldron or a cape or a cloth, or just like it looked like armor and then it would move like fabric, and I couldn't figure out what the fuck anybody was wearing. And it drove me bananas. And from the fucking Ghost in the Shell crew. Just like I couldn't figure out what your characters are supposed to be moving and looking like. Iconic scenes from a 1995 anime, and we just got pissed all over it for whatever the fuck this was. Okay. But no, we had these little nuggets of very, very Lord of the Rings things. All of the like they dabbled into the history. Somebody wrote the script and like thought about where they were gonna put in these details and didn't do anything with it. And that's like just it was bad move after bad move. Really boring shit.
Yeah, and it looks like it made $20 million on a budget of $30 million. So
they did, but they probably released this knowing they were gonna lose money. This for sure is to retain the rights, right? The movie rights.
To be fair, what else has come out in the last 4 months? Basically nothing. It's
Yeah.
bad right now. The well is dry.
It's on in movie theaters or in general.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In theaters.
I mean, when
Oh, in
this
theaters, yeah.
this
I'll go
movie,
see freaking anything at this rate.
yeah, this came out in early December though. We are reviewing it late. I don't know what it was up against, but they definitely seem to have some
There were
confidence.
a couple movies in December.
Well, no, if you release it in early December, you releasing it with a little bit of confidence that you're going to capture like a holiday crowd. And
Yeah.
I think that was just a callback to the Lord of the Rings coming out in like the holiday season, and I think The Hobbit also. Didn't they movies? I know like Harry Potter and a lot of like fantasy films from back in the day. They really captured that holiday season magic, like the whole family could go and see it. So I think they were trying to capitalize on that. But I don't know, like I think 30 million or 20 million on a $30 million project, if they were trying to keep the rights to what? I mean, what are you waiting for? This is it. This is the fucking movie. Like, I mean, what more were they holding back for? Another season of the TV show?
I don't know. That's the only thing I can think of. Well, they probably only have the rights to the movies only.
Yeah, I think they only have the New Line.
Maybe they're trying to haggle with Amazon. Maybe they're trying to charge them like an exorbitant amount. Be like, yeah, if you want the movie rights, this is how much we want.
Now, have they talked about just remaking Lord of the Rings? I feel like that's been discussed. Does anyone know that? Like, I feel like they're kind of doing Harry Potter.
I mean,
fucking.
Well, I was gonna say,
even if we don't want it, it's inevitable, right?
It's gonna happen eventually.
I think it's inevitable.
Gonna one up that cast.
You're not.
We're talking about movies that are quoted and shown and memed on still daily. Like everybody knows Lord of the Rings right now. To try and remake it right now seems not even in bad taste, but that shit's still fresh to freaking everybody, right?
Well, it's not, I don't think it's fresh, but I think it was so well done that it has become a cultural phenomenon. Like,
well, it's the defining like media like item for Lord of the Rings, right? Because there's the animated movies, we have the TV shows, the books, all this stuff. But the one thing that everybody kind of knows or is familiar with is the Peter Jackson movies. Yeah, like that's Lord of the Rings for a lot of people.
I was actually funny that you guys are bringing it up because even on the Super Bowl, we saw our boy Orlando Bloom show up in the Super Bowl commercial. And I was looking, I was like, damn, this man's getting kind of old. Like he can't show up as Legolas no more. This unaging elf. You can't necessarily play that role for much longer. I mean, he's like 50 something at this point. So I'm like, he's 48. So I mean,
Gandalf might be dead.
Yeah. At this point,
and he's not coming back again. Right?
Yeah. So I mean, we already know Christopher Lee. He's been gone for quite a while. So I mean, you could replace Saruman, sure, but I mean, really, there's no point.
I mean, Saruman died,
Saruman died. But I'm saying, like, if they do like prequel type of stuff, they can do it. But the thing is like, what's the point, right? Like, what's the point of bringing up that old cast again? It just, I have to agree with Darkseid, or not, he didn't say this, but I think a reboot might be in order. Granted, it's crazy because this movie has, 20 years ago when this kicked off, a little over 20 years ago. So, I mean, it doesn't feel like it's been that long, but I mean, what else can they really do at this point? They can do another anime film, sure. They can do other anime films, but they have to do something that is worthwhile. And if you're going to do Lord of the Rings is synonymous with big budgets, right? Peter Jackson, when he did it, big budget. It's an epic tale. So, I mean, I don't know if Lord of the Rings has a lot.
I think that they, like, I say that with, like, I'd say that they can only do it just to do it. You know what I mean? There's the way that even Peter Jackson made those original movies, they still hold up pretty damn well. Like, I mean, they still, and I don't know how much CG he used, but he didn't use as much as practical effects. And that shit still holds up. Like there's not really much of a point.
Did you get the extended DVD back in the day?
Yeah.
Or I'm assuming the Blu-ray where it had like the behind the scenes and all that crazy shit. Like I remember watching it, and one of the main reasons why it works is because he mixed everything. So he mixed CG, and on the next shot, instead of using CG for something, he would use like a real item, and then another shot, that item would be CG. So basically, because it's constantly changing, your eyes can't get adjusted to it. So it always has that look to it where it's hard to discern sometimes if it's real or fake.
No, I mean,
maybe
this
maybe
was also long before 4K, so it was much easier to trick the eye.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that too. Yeah. And then I remember,
genius.
Have you seen?
Genius.
I mean, I don't know if you guys have
set-
watched it recently, but you can kind of tell it's not.
obviously, but obviously now we have 4K and everything. But back in the day, and also another thing that they did is in all the sets and everything, like the books and everything, they actually, if you were to open them, they would have like all this random like elf text on it and shit. Even though nobody might use it ever, it was just to add like realism. So like everything in the movie like feels real, because it is real. And then obviously how they mixed or did like the different camera tricks, like when they did Bilbo with Gandalf. The way they filmed it is they just had the two actors like, I don't know, like 10 feet apart, but messed with the lens. So it looked like they were next to each other. Right?
Yeah,
so instead of doing it as a digital thing, they just did it in camera. And again, that would mess with what you're seeing.
The scale stuff for the Hobbit, like human to Hobbit scale, like camera tricks were really cool for the time. And they did it in camera. So that was cool. Now I was thinking that, what like this movie, what a better use of like this quality of animation. I would have been okay if they decided to just animate, like take another crack at Lord of the Rings from the animated perspective. You know what I mean?
That would make more sense.
That would be cool.
Just talking about like
way
stuff,
more sense.
yeah, just talking about stuff like you said earlier on, like you want to animate things that you would have a harder time bringing to real life, like
Or
as seamlessly. So
the source
like,
material, animate it and let the anime people come up with their own designs. Let's see what they come up with orcs. Let's see what they come up with the different races. Let's see what an anime hobbit looks like, right? Let them go fucking do their thing and see what happens. That would have been way more interesting than this thing we watched.
Yeah. I agree.
I mean, this. I mean, at the end of the day, we'll see what happens with Lord of the Rings. We saw firsthand how boring it can be. Now, it's kind of like I see it through the lens of people who don't like Lord of the Rings and how people are like, man, this is boring. I'm like, now I can kind of see what the hell they're talking about because watching
you can empathize with them.
Yeah, like now I can kind of like, man, this is boring as shit. Like,
I mean, it's not fair though, because even our fucking Lord of the Rings dork was bored by it too.
Yeah. Which, I mean, go ahead. Go ahead.
Dork.
Yeah.
That's what you're gonna land on.
Yeah. No, this is hopefully Warner Brothers is it Warner Brothers or is it
well, it was Warner Brothers.
Warner Brothers. Yeah, hopefully
Warner Brothers. WB strikes again.
Like, man, they just like fucking up every franchise they can get their hands on.
Yeah, they're multi-talented for sure.
Yeah, it's like, are they trying to speed run how to fuck up franchise?
Don't worry, they still have Harry Potter. They still have Harry Potter.
Yeah,
to be
you all heard about the Wile E. Coyote movie, right?
Yeah.
No, they didn't.
It's a live action.
You want to get mad if you hear about this, you'll get mad.
Oh, you're trolling. Wait.
No, I honestly haven't heard about this.
I've heard of it.
You didn't hear about this over the summer?
No.
Yeah. All right. Hang on.
Yeah, they made you bring up the details and prepare to get pissed off. And I actually look it up because you can see scenes from the movie.
So, Coyote versus Acme stars John Cena and Will Forte. It is about Wile E. Coyote suing the Acme Corporation for their faulty products. It's a big drama. It's shot in the style of Roger Rabbit or Mary Poppins. This movie was supposed to come out over the summer. They filmed the whole thing, ready for release.
Done.
Warner Brothers shelved it Yeah, done. Like post pro, fucking donezo, ready to go. Warner Brothers shelves it for the tax cut for what's the loophole? Not being able to release a finished movie or some BS. I don't know.
Yeah, whatever loophole that is.
I don't remember exactly what the rule was.
Same as Batgirl. This was done for the same.
They Batgirl the movie. But they tested the movie. Yeah. And everybody who watched it said it was amazing. Like they were talking Oscar worthy performances. What? Academy Award. Apparently this was.
It's funny, is what
really
I heard.
Freaking good.
Yeah.
I'm reading an article right now, and sure enough,
people stills. You could see stills of the movie, like they were like ready to, like they were about to promote it, and it was in magazines, and
they said the movie is superb. They said this was superb. They said
so they just don't want to release it.
No, the tax write-off. They saved the money on it.
Yeah, Warner Brothers is burning money. Their business practices are notoriously poor right now. They have especially after the Weinstein thing. Warner Brothers has no idea what they're doing. They shelved the movie for the tax write-off, and so when we talk about how they're handling some of their IP and production, no shit. No shit. They probably
I mean, the Looney Tunes. The Looney Tunes were about to come back to theaters in live action mixed with 2D animation, exactly right up this group's alley of our nostalgia.
Yeah.
In the a slightly adult storyline. Everything about it sounded great. Like the more you read about it, the angrier. Yeah,
God damn it.
You really want to watch it.
They said that,
and then for a while there was a rumor that there's a copy of it that the leak? Somebody there was forever for like weeks somebody was talking about a leak and an impending leak, and it never happened. And I don't know if we'll ever get to. I don't know if this can be reversed. It'd be crazy if there's a way to reverse, because that movie's done. Batgirl is pretty much done. That's a whole fucking Brendan Fraser movie that's just out there somewhere, on a shelf somewhere, fully completed with effects, that was going to go out to fucking theaters. It's insane. But this is all WB. They've been completely on a roll.
This editor that is reviewing this movie, he said he got to see a copy of it, and he said he got a last minute invite to the screening of the film. Like you guys said, it had no media. They put no media out for this film whatsoever, but they were just getting feedback. Even though the movie was pretty much completed at that point, they were getting feedback from reviewers. And this guy said, he says that if this movie goes out, this is before they shelved it. If this movie goes out, that Warner Brothers has a franchise on their hands, that they could continue to do this live action mixed with animated movie series, and they finally have gotten it right. And he was saying the director for it nailed it. He's nailed everything, nailed it visually, nailed it. It said this was one of the only movies that it was good. It was a good psychological movie. It really got you invested in the characters. And he's he loved this. So it's so crazy to me that Warner Brothers has a knockout, pretty much a success from everybody that I'm seeing. Everybody who saw the movie said it was amazing, and they don't release it. That's absolutely mind-boggling. I'm sure they will. I'm sure when when Warner Brothers,
they do nothing but great movies. So
no, I think that
they're just throwing bullseyes for business practice over and over here.
Yeah.
Warner Brothers. Totally trustworthy at this point in time.
No, I think they're going to do it once their backs to the wall. Well, we've been saying that for years. They're going to finally do it, but
they're past the wall at this point.
Yeah, but we see what
through it.
But to be fair, Warner Brothers is. I mean, they're kind of trying to do that with the new DC universe. So, I mean, they might be trying to claw back from the hole that they put themselves in. And the previous DC universe, that kind of gave them this reputation. So we'll see.
There is an attempt to claw back. I believe Rocksteady is now beginning work on a single player Batman solo game again.
Yeah.
Yep. But they say it's years away. But that is the. I mean, they went right back to what they should have done. So they seem to maybe they're trying to maybe pivot back to better directions. But I don't know. They fucked everything.
Yeah.
And this
from games to movies, everything.
Harry Potter's also theirs, and they're like that. Remember they had a whole fucking rebooted franchise with what's his name?
Severus Snape.
Oh
no!
there was Fantastic Creatures.
Oh, Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp.
Yeah, that was gonna be their next thing.
Remember?
Johnny Depp and all this crazy.
Bomb that shit.
I was wondering what happened to Harry Potter because that stayed relevant way longer than I thought it would. And then we had the Harry Potter Land show up, and we had the Fantastic Creature stuff, and they're just doing Broadway plays and stuff like that. Like it was sort of relevant, and then like.
They're in the process of remaking Harry Potter from the ground up with a new cast. Again,
why?
Yeah, exactly.
Fantastic Beasts.
Why?
Fantastic Beasts.
Explain this to me.
Yeah. So it's part of their like pivot back to like a sure thing, right? So I don't know. That just.
I mean, of all the people to feed more money to, J.K. Rowling isn't on my top list, and neither is
I'm with you, man.
Studio. But I
don't care.
Harry Potter, because you can't just throw the Harry Potter DVD on and let the kids go crazy over that. We got to redo it.
Can we all agree though?
What are they going?
Can we all agree? Look, can we all? There's a lot of hate for WB going on here. Can we all agree that they handle Batman well? Like, I mean, up till recently.
It's not recently. They've been doing pretty decently.
Yeah, like I mean, they did fuck up Batfleck a little bit. They just made some bad decisions instead of just giving him his own movie. Yes. I'm just saying, like, they really tumbled up a little bit. Then the Matt Reeves Batman really got it back there, and they're like, all right, don't fuck this up. But yeah, so like Batman, they have a better track record with Batman.
Batman works.
Batman was still the best part of those. Batman was still the best part of the last two Snyder movies.
Sure. I mean, we should have got. Remember the pitch? The pitch for remember when Ben Affleck first got cast, and I remember reading this. The pitch for the solo Ben Affleck movie was basically the Arkham Asylum game movie, like Batman trapped in the asylum with all the villains, and it was like Die Hard in Arkham Asylum with he doesn't have all his gadgets, and it was like a cool idea with Ben Affleck, and just
oh my god, that'd be cool.
They slowly went away from that. I watched it happen over years, and they just everyone quit. And I'm like, how did these decisions happen? What happened? Then we get the Flash, and I'm like, what happened here? I don't understand.
Well, I look at
money.
No, I'll say
Warner Brothers.
Well, the thing is, I think it's money. I mean, but I think Warner Brothers, they realized they had actual solid formula, and then they just decided to branch off and try to do something new, and they just didn't nail it. And I do agree, with what Darkseid said, is they quickly readjusted back to Matt Reeves. Batfleck should have had his own Batman film. We talked about this plenty of times before, how Batfleck was the most brutal Batman that we all enjoy. This is a Batman, a Batman that I think a lot of people resonate with. We have Detective Batman, we have had the Dark Knight, but we never had a grizzled, seasoned Batman like we have seen before. So I think that was a major mess up on the.
To be fair, don't forget, we also had a fucking snazzy Bruce Wayne out of that too.
Yeah. And remember I remember we used to talk about it in our friend group about how bad Ben Affleck how bad Ben Affleck was received in the Batman universe. Everybody was like, Ben Affleck, he's no Bruce Wayne, and then come to find out he was a phenomenal Bruce Wayne. He played a jaded Bruce Wayne so well, and and then come to find out was some people's favorite Bruce Wayne, especially in recent years. I mean, everybody loves Christopher Nolan and what's his name?
Christian Bale.
Christian Bale. Yeah, like everybody. I mean, he was cool, but I mean, if you could kind of meld the two together, I'm not gonna lie, Ben Affleck is probably, I would say, a better representation of a Batman in a lot of people's minds, and I could see an argument for that. It was a crazy world to be in during this time, but then we just got it got completely shit on. Now, it sucks that we'll never get to see that, but it is what it is. Hopefully Warner Brothers, I feel like Warner Brothers is going through a reconstruction period right now. We get the DCEU rebuilt. So we're going to get a new Batman sometime soon in the next few years. We're going to get the Matt Reeves Batman, and then we're going to get a different Batman. So that's going to be a reboot of sorts. And so that's fine. I think Warner Brothers is doing they're doing a decent job at least touching that and being able to recoup some of the lost faith that we've had in Warner Brothers. But I mean, I think it's going to take time. I mean, I think Warner Brothers, I think they know better now, but we'll see.
All roads lead back to Batman here at the Blrd podcast.
Back to Batman. Hey, this is Batman History Month.
I'm okay with this.
So, I mean, we didn't get to celebrate it this year in depth, but it is BHM. So Black Man. I keep doing this every fucking year. Batman History Month. So yeah, I mean, it always comes back to the Man in Black. All right, so let's get back to Lord of the Rings real quick. Let's wrap this up, and then we can talk about other shit.
Do we have to?
Yeah, unfortunately, we have.
Let's just give our blurries here.
Let's give our blurries and let's dip out.
All right.
If I'll go first. I'll give it a 3 out of 10 blurries. It was boring. Animation is the only thing that saved it. And Helm fisticuffs with people. That's it. Other than that, the story was boring. The story was very lackluster, to say the least. It would have been better if they just didn't write a story, honestly. I think this story was AI generated because the main bad guy, Wolf.
It does feel like an AI generated movie.
It really does. Because Wolf does not seem like a real fucking character. Like, I understand, like, if I'm not gonna lie, if back in that, I'm trying to think of back in that day, if my father got challenged by another man to have fisticuffs, and my dad gets killed in one punch, I don't know that dude. Like, that dude ain't my dad. Because I'm like, yo, what soft glass jaw ass bitch? Like, what? This man got knocked. He threw the first punch and then got killed.
And then he lost. He fucking died.
Yeah, and like, at first I was like, nah, he just
like
got
a bitch.
Like, I thought
he was like a bitch.
Yeah, he just laid down. I was like, oh man, like that king, that man got some hands. And I'm like, wait, I'm like, it can't be serious. This man actually
you
dead.
might see why he has hands.
I mean, yeah.
Holy shit.
Like, dude, like I said, this dude's fighting trolls barehanded. Like, I mean, we saw and like the Fellowship and all this other shit. These motherfuckers are fighting a troll, like 4 or 5 people. This king over here, like, nah, fuck it. He's knocking out Tusk.
He's going solo. He's tanking those motherfuckers.
Like, he knocked out a troll's tusk with one hand. Like, this dude is, I don't know if it was a troll, but it was a big ass.
Where was he in the Battle of Helm's Deep? Why couldn't they have more guys like these, like helping Legolas?
Yeah, like,
it would have been so much easier to take on.
Like, do you thought this man? You know that man wasn't dead when he was frozen in front of Gondor or whatever. Like,
that's true.
Put that man in the fire, and then he'll be like,
where was this fella?
Yeah.
What? He was in his suspended animation right now.
Yeah.
He froze his body. He froze his body for future science to revive him and cure his erectile dysfunction. It's a long story.
I'm glad we have our priority.
Story of kings.
I can't.
I'm gonna. Yeah, I'll give it 4 fucking hammer hands. 4 hammer hands out of 10, baby.
There we go.
Yeah.
I give it 3. I give it 3 hammer hands. for pretty much the same reasons that Creamcast said.
Yeah, I'll give it 3 blurries, man. This thing sucked.
All right, Snake. All on you.
Oh man.
Oh, here comes the 9.
We got 4 characters,
Redeem
4 plot, 4 animation. I didn't even get to the fucking music. You listen to the music?
No.
The only memorable,
There was
memorable
music?
parts of this. The only memorable parts of the soundtrack, they were all callbacks to the theatrical
The
release
original.
Yes.
movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was going to say
I did
yeah.
notice that.
It was otherwise boring as shit. So poor soundtrack, poor fights, poor animation. Man, like I was sitting on a 4 because like it wasn't like I wasn't sitting here groaning and like rolling my eyes like B movie bad, but at least I get enjoyment out of that shit. So I think you pulled me into a 3.
Yeah.
You pulled me into a 3, and I don't even feel bad about it.
I don't understand where. Yeah, I don't understand. Like, I see all these positive reviews, like people getting 5 stars. I'm like, these must be bots. Like, there's no way possible that people are giving this such high reviews, because I'm like, did we watch the same thing? Like, this is what I was saying before. Like, I'm seeing like IGN, all these other places giving it like 6 and 7s. And I'm like, okay, then we saw the theatrical release and people weren't going to see it. And I was like, okay, something, maybe because it's anime, people just don't know. And then I'm like, holy shit, I see this. And I'm like, what is this doo-doo on my screen? Like, I literally started falling asleep. And at one point, I had to rewind because my mind blanked. Like, my mind literally blanked. I was watching it and I was like, what the fuck? Why the fuck are there elephants here? I was like, let me rewind this, because I just forgot what I was watching because I had zoned out so hard. So, yeah, I don't know, man.
You mean Oliphants?
You said what?
Timothy Oliphant?
Oliphants?
Timothy Oliphants.
Yeah.
Timothy Oliphants, yes.
His name is Timothy.
Timothy. My fault. Yeah, this was trash. I'm glad that this is over. This makes me less excited for Rings of Power, and my excitement for Rings of Power is already diminished.
Do you have to do Rings of Power and the rest of it?
No joke. I was trying to use this as a like spark to reignite the Rings of Fire.
What's going on with Lord of the Rings? Everything in Lord of the Rings lately is boring. It's just goddamn boring. Everything, even the damn Amazon
the first season.
show.
I'm not watching the second. I'm skipping that episode because I ain't playing catch up.
What's going on is that all of this is based on one story that was masterfully told already, and it's a lot of people, including like readers and authors' sons and people, clinging on to like that one good story. Like, I mean,
we're here. Like Star Wars?
Yeah, I mean,
exactly like Star Wars.
Pretty much like Star Wars.
Yeah. I mean, we're just there.
But the difference is
where Star Wars is.
But the difference is with Star Wars, at least there's a few good stories that are kind of turning out, like that, like the Andors, the same series we've
Well,
glazed.
I was gonna say this to defend a little bit of the creators of this movie, that you also have this like preciousness with the material, right? You can't really go too off script with Tolkien, right? Tolkien is, because he's obviously, it's like held to a higher degree than like George Lucas. George Lucas is still alive. Tolkien's dead. So he's like, and it's like this classic story. So if they tried to make it more interesting by adding stuff, they would have probably been, they're afraid of getting dragged for that.
Yeah.
So they kept it close to what it was, and what it was is pretty damn boring. I mean,
yeah.
I kept forgetting that it was Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. What they call it, tokenomics. You got the token with him. I mean, like people want pure Lord of the Rings. They get the pure Lord of the Rings. It's not good. Well, and I don't say like Lord of the Rings is not good, but like the adaptation of stories are sometimes just not good. And right now, Peter Jackson is the savior we need. So Peter Jackson, please come and save the Lord of the Rings. However you do it, just do what you do. Lord of the Rings desperately needs you. Become the Feige of Lord of the Rings and and help us out, please. But I will watch Rings of Power season 2. I will watch it. I kind of want to see what happens. I've already invested. I've already watched like three or four episodes. So might as well.
You're invested.
Yeah, I'm
All right.
invested. Like,
All right, brother.
you're still invest. Even if your stocks go to zero, you still have those stocks. Like those stocks don't disappear. Like so, even if they're worth zero,
Don't worry,
you owe
Creamcast.
money on it.
yeah, my money's in it.
Denial. He's in
Creamcast.
denial. He's in denial.
We are fellowship. We will go with you to Mount Doom. Don't worry about it.
Thank you. All right. Well,
I won't.
wow.
I'm gonna be like,
Wow.
what's his name?
Except
Sean
Snake.
Bean
Except
and
Snake.
betray you the first instant again.
You're gonna betray me
Yeah.
the first instance.
Yeah,
Okay.
like Sean Bean. Yeah,
Nice.
Yeah,
I
and
guess
how to change your heart and die
some people
heroically.
of this like fellowship are more loyal than others.
Yeah. Well, didn't he die? Doesn't he die in every movie that he's in? So I
He
mean,
dies in a lot of
Yeah,
movies.
he
no, I mean I know that's the joke. Like everything that he ever plays in, he always dies. And he's like,
Yeah.
I really want to play a character that doesn't actually die. And the next role he died. So I mean, this guy doesn't get a break. Probably one of the most. He's probably one of the most killable villains or killable actors out there. He's probably died the most, so it's hilarious. Well, we know what your fate is going to be, Dark Green Tuner. So just betray me if you want to. Well, we know what's going to happen to you. Okay. All right.
Obviously, Ed will be what's his name, Schmeagol or
Yeah.
my precious.
Well, he's not.
He only joins. You can't
I mean, he
trust
already
him when he's
has.
around.
I'm pretty sure. I haven't seen it, but I can take a pretty good guess that Ed has the same physique as fucking.
Golem.
As
Yeah,
Gollum.
Yeah.
Golem, yeah.
I'm
Well,
just saying.
Well, you call him Schmeagol at first. I was gonna call him Smegma.
Ask him what you have in your pockets, and when he can't figure it out, pull out his Tesla keys.
Yeah.
Wait, does he Tesla? Tesla even have keys?
He's precious.
Does he Tesla?
Teslas, no, they have a charger you hook it to your asshole, and that's how you power up the car.
Daddy Elon's coming through again. He's like, there's a fresh update. Go ahead and lube that sucker in. All right.
What do you think Ed drives around so much?
We'll talk about that in the second part. All right, you guys. This has been episode 154 of the Blrd Podcast. As always, you can catch us live on twitch.tv/the Blrd Podcast. And if you can't catch us live, you can watch us on youtube.com/the Blrd Podcast. Or if you want to hear our voices only, you can catch us on all major podcasting platforms. Until next time, you guys. Actually, hold up. We're about to switch over to our extra Blrd content where we talk about the news of the previous weeks and so forth. So you don't want to miss that. But until next time, you guys, peace, and we'll blur you later.
Blur you later.
Hey there.